Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video. This is WOR round number 13 if I remember correctly, around Las Vegas. Round numbers don't really matter anymore because we won the championship last week, of course. And today we're gonna have some fun. As you can see, we're not in Q3, and that's because we're gonna be starting last for today's race. And it's probably the perfect track to do a last to first challenge. Anyway, or at least we're gonna try and attempt a last to first challenge. Of course, the grid is stacked with F1 esports drivers in WR and PSGL, so this is not going to be easy. As you can see there, Freddie Rasmussen got pole ahead of her teammate Jake Benham, and Ismail Fassi, Williams esports driver, Ruben Pedreno, Williams esports driver, and Tom Manley, Red Bull esports driver, I think so, if I remember correctly. Anyway, as you can see there from that Q3 shot, we are back in multiplayer cars, and that's because the update that came through from EA basically made equal cars online broken for some reason. So we had to swap back to multiplayer cars briefly, and should only just be for this race, to be honest. So it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just that we don't have normal liveries. The cars are at least equal this way. So into the race we're gonna go. On the hards we're gonna be starting here. And just like a lot of people around us, we're actually starting in the middle of a corner because the main straight is actually the main straight is quite short. So into the race we're gonna go then, starting P20, and it's lights out and away we go. We're gonna take it a little bit careful, of course, in turn one because
where's starting spawn from?
Starting last, we're not really gonna win the race here in the opening lap. We have to play patience, as actually Declan Barrett and Louis Welch went off into Narnia in turn 1 and lost each other a bunch of positions. So we've overtaken Thomas, who was starting on the last row as well. And as you can see there, they're going 4 right into the next right-hander. Nicolas actually gained so many positions there by taking a lot of risk. But yeah, that's also a lot of risk, of course. And we're going to play it a little bit more patient. We're going to go around the outside of Jack West and Brendan Lee, perhaps. We managed to get side by side at the apex, but can't quite pull it off. And we are a little bit boxed in here as Philip, Nicolas and Brendan went side by side there. Jet with front wing damage pulling off to the side. And his race is not over, but not going in a great direction. Having a little look down the inside of Brendan there. Having a little look down the inside of Philip there as well, as we get a track limit warning there at the apex. And for anyone who has played Las Vegas on the F1 game, having a track limit warning on the opening lap is not very ideal with how much you have to cut corners or have to risk corner cuts for good time gain. So as you can see on this exit, for example, you have to get really close to a track limit invalidation to really gain a lot of pace. And if you then go a little bit to the left of that curve, then you bottom out. So it's really hard to nail, but it's so worth the lap time gain, especially in qualifying. So P15, good opening lap actually, considering we took it quite carefully. We've gained 5 positions onto lap 4 then, still in P15, no positions gained. But as you can see there, I locked up the front left and actually hit the wall really hard. And somehow we got no damage.
How did I not get damage there? That's crazy. My whole front wheel should have gone off.
As you can hear me say there, my whole front wheel should have gone off because I hit the wall quite hard. But yeah, lucky to not end the race there. If that was simulation damage, we would have at least had front wing damage. So yeah, on to lap 5 we go now then. Still in P15 actually. As you can see that Thomas is using his battery. So I decided to turn it on as well because I did not want to lose track position here. And we're gonna head towards the limiter actually. We are on 12.9k revs, 12.9k RPM, and the limiter is at 13,000 RPM. So yeah, we're gonna hit the limiter more times this race, as we're actually gonna go for a move on Declan Barrett. And and that's going to be quite an easy one into turn 1. Used quite a bit of our battery here in the past half a lap to get track position, or at least keep the track position. And up to P14 we go. As you can see, Dylan Warman on the mediums in P12 with a 3-second penalty. So his tires are going to be dropping off over the next few laps compared to our hards. I feel like the tire wear is not high, but the effect of tire wear is just really high. The lap time drop. But as you can see there, Brendan actually went for a move there, couldn't quite pull it off. And we're going to go around the outside in the long left-hander, and that is up to P13. And now we've got Dylan Warren next on those old mediums. Or at least not old, but they are starting to drop off, of course, lap after lap more compared to the harder compound. And on the next straight, we're going to get DRS. He should get DRS as well, but not sure how much ERS he has. So we're going to go in the attack here, turning on the overtake button, giving us an extra 160 horsepower. And you can see he is flashing, which means he's under 10% battery. And yeah, that's going to be a relatively easy move with the help of DRS. And I think Dylan wanted us to get past anyway, simply because I think he felt like I was going to drop out of DRS. So it was probably better off for him to let us pass and not fight it too hard. Anyway, he couldn't fight it really hard because he had no battery left anyway. But you can see that we are actually getting quite low on battery as well. And I said a few league races ago I was going to bring these replay cams back. I think Spa was the first time we did it, and here we've got them again. I actually remembered myself to save them, and a little replay on how we managed to get past Brendan Lee 2 times F1 Esports World Champion as well. And beautiful move right there. So on to lap 7 we go. You can see we're gonna get quite comfortably DRS, and we need it desperately because we need to recharge our battery. And you can see that actually 3 laps later, with the help of some beautiful DRS, we managed to get our battery quite high again, 75% on the exit here. And we're not going to be using anything here, we're just going to be sitting behind Nicolas and yeah, just work together. We are on the same strategy here, of course, on the hard, trying to close the gap to the top 7. We're actually out of DRS range, so it's going to be quite hard to get back. And you can see Thomas and Brendan behind us have dropped out, and it's so hard to get back in because we are chasing the leaders as well and pushing as hard as we can. As both Nicolas and Alfie managed to get past Ruben there on those old softs, and he's going to be boxing as his tires are done and dusted after 10 laps. So Alfie P8 now, Nicolas P9, and ourselves in P10, and then there's a 2.5 second gap to the leader. So we need to be working together here to close that gap to the front 7, and then we can start our last first journey really, because if we don't manage to, then we're just fighting for P8. But you can see they're fighting up front quite hard, so we are going to be gaining a lot of lap time here compared to those guys. And yeah, this is the technical section, so if they're battling and stuck in dirty air from each other, then we are gaining a lot, and we've gained an absolutely crazy amount of time there. I think we've gained 1.5 seconds easily, just by those guys battling. So that is really good for all 3 of us. And now we can start and try to gain even more track position. We got Nicolas right ahead of us. I'm gonna turn on the overtake button and try to get him on the straight here. DRS open. Nicolas not really fighting it too hard actually. We only had to use like 20% of our battery, and maybe he was low on battery, and maybe he felt like he didn't have the pace. So up to P11 we go, and you can see actually we overtook him, and then he started gaining back because of the slipstream. That's how crazy strong the slipstream is going to be in real life as well, of course. Real life the slipstream is going to be even stronger than on the F1 game. So up to P9 we go. No one coming into the box on this lap. I'm not sure if there's any other tire runners ahead of us. Actually, you can see that Alvaro has gone straight on. He was in the lead actually. He overtook Jake for the lead, and yeah, he had so much speed that he just went straight on. Just braked probably at his normal braking point, but if you're arriving at the corner with 10-20 kph more top speed, then obviously the braking point changes quite a lot. So Alvaro lost like 10 positions there, is now down to P11. Shanaka came into the box there for a new set of mediums. So 13 laps on the mediums for him. We got 13 lap old medium, or hards almost. And I was planning to box around lap 15.
Shanaka literally just boxed.
And yeah, as you can even say there, Shanaka just boxed there. And we're gonna do the same now, but we actually got 1.5 seconds green on the Delta, so we're not gonna be gaining a lot to Shanaka, I reckon. And we are going onto the mediums as well, but we don't know who our pit buddy is, basically. We don't know if anyone ahead of us is driving into our pit box, and unfortunately it was Jake. Somehow. We are teammates.
It wasn't too bad, but it's not
usually in WOR, but somehow we were teammates now as well, even though it's completely random.
We lost out to Nico, but we gained to Yanni, so could have been worse, I guess.
So I would like to see what odds on that are that we're actually teammates here as well, which is quite weird. But yeah, we lost out the position to Nicolas, but we gained the position to Joni Tormela. So we stayed in the same position more or less. But yeah, Shanaka somehow did manage to come out ahead still of us. And I think that was simply because our train was moving quite slowly. And we were plus 1 second green on the Delta. So Shanaka probably gained a little bit with that. And I'm not sure if it's actually if Shanaka was completely out of the box when the safety car came out. So he might have gained a little bit back there as well. So on the restart, here we go now. No real risk. I didn't want to be too close up because, yeah, I didn't want to risk a front wing. You never really know if the restart is actually going to happen when you think it's going to happen. Anyone who has seen the 2020 Mugello Grand Prix remembers that crash where everyone thought there was a restart and then there was no restart and everyone just plowed into the back of them. I didn't want to risk that. Just play it safe because there's still 10 laps to go. We're in P9 and we can easily get our way to the front if we have good race pace and make the right move. So on the restart, no positions gained here. Played it safe. I think actually Brendan got front wing damage on the back of us at the safety car restart. I didn't put it in the video, but I think it was around the last corner where yeah, same thing. Probably thought we were gonna go for a restart and then we just didn't. So I'm not sure actually if Brandon got front wing damage, but I think he did. As actually Shanaka and Nicolas had a little bit of a moment there, and I decided to grab my opportunity here and go for it into the next right-hander. Can we brake later? Yes, we can. Actually, a little bit of a touch there. But the next corner is gonna turn into the inside for Nicolas, and I decided to not go side by side here and just take that one position we gained.
Again.
And actually, safety car again. Now we can go for another pit stop and box soft, but I decided, you know what, I am gonna stay out. Mediums had done quite a few laps behind the safety car, and then of course 2 full, or yeah, I think it was 2 actually full push laps. So again, it's a long track, so the tire wear
again, to be honest,
has quite a big effect. But yeah, I didn't really want to give up track position, and you can see there we managed to get up to P5 by other people boxing, but now we have the disadvantage of not having new soft tires, of course. So we're gonna have 6 more laps of racing here once the safety car restarts, and you can see there again quite cautious on the safety car restart. Even though I could see Jake, I didn't quite press the accelerator in time, so only no positions gained for us there, and just staying behind Nicolas for now. You can see actually Ismail Fassi and Alfie Butcher going side by side on the restart there. And now we are gonna have a little look down the inside of Nicolas. Can we outbrake him? Yes, we can. Down the inside, we are ahead of the apex. We're actually side by side on the apex. We leave him space on the outside, and up to P4 we go with 5.5 laps remaining. And everyone ahead of us, of course, in the same age of tires. Maybe a little bit more ERS, as we had to, of course, overtake Nicolas and Shanaka. So not sure how the ERS situation is, but We've only got 3 cars ahead, and let's hope they start fighting for track position as well, so we can regain relative to them a little bit on the ERS side kind of things. As there's a huge
4 people spin there.
crash behind us there. I think Freddie Rasmussen wasn't involved there, so he was someone who boxed ahead of us onto the softs, and that is good news for us, simple as that, because he was probably catching us really fast on a new set of softs. And yeah, as you can see there, he has left the session as Tom Manley, who also boxed for softs, drives into the back of us and definitely got front wing damage there. So luckily for us, no front wing damage there, and that's another soft runner gone. So they are not doing themselves a favor with getting involved in incidents, of course, considering they have such a big pace advantage on a new set of softs. So this is good for us. Tom Manley, as you can see there, retired from the session. So another soft runner that boxed ahead of us in that last safety car for new softs gone. And now with 4 laps to go, we got the next new soft runner behind us. Thomas, who was behind us when the first and the second safety car came out. So boxing for softs was probably the right decision here. I'm not going to fight him, simply because I feel like it only put myself in a disadvantage the next few laps if I fight this really hard, and I will probably be fighting a losing battle anyway. And as you can see there, Alfie actually broke his front wing on the back of Jake, and that's a huge disadvantage, of course, with 4 full laps to go. He's going to be losing so much front downforce, and we're already running such low wings that it's going to be so hard to keep the car on track. Braking stability is going to be terrible on the front end, and yeah, as you can see there, his car is not turning already anymore. So we're going to turn on the overtake button and go for the move here on this long back straight. And you can see Thomas has already pulled a huge gap on those new softs, and Alfie using as well quite a lot there. So I decided to stop using there and wait until the middle sector where Alfie is going to be struggling with that damaged front wing. So actually he's going side by side there with Ismail, and that's compromising their exit, and I'm going for the switchback, and that is 2 cars in 1 corner. Up to P3 we go. I squeezed myself all the way up to the wall just to make sure that in case they did collide, there was enough space for me right there.
Why
So
did my tire indicator pop up?
as yeah, easy position there on Ismail, as
So useless.
there was more grip on the inside, as my tire indicator popped up mid-battle, so that was very frustrating. 3 laps to go now. Thomas going for the move on Jake, and he's looking like the favorite to win this race, unless he is low on ERS and cannot break the 1 second window. You can see there Thomas moving around in the braking as well, simply because those softs are starting to drop off as well, of course. The longer it takes Thomas to break the DRS, the bigger disadvantage is going to be for him, simply because his softs will relatively drop off much faster than our mediums, of course. And yeah, we're going to see now on this exit if Jake is going to get DRS. It's actually by quite a margin that Jake is still in the DRS zone. The gap is around 6.5 tenths between them, and by the end of the straight I think it's going to come down to 0. Because the DRS straight is so crazy long, and you can see the gap was 6.5 tenths, and Jake has managed to overtake him, probably without using ERS as well. That's the crazy thing. Now of course Thomas probably didn't use ERS as well, but still, it's crazy. 6.5 tenths just gone. So yeah, imagine being 6.5 tenths per lap faster. It's not enough to break the DRS. You arguably have to be over a second per lap faster to break the DRS, considering we've got another DRS zone right after this corner. So which is a crazy long straight again as well, because we're going to be reaching just on this straight alone a top speed of around 340 kph. As you can see there, 341 actually, and I probably had to brake early there because these two were going side by side ahead of me, and yeah, decided to once again stay behind, because the real fight is going to happen on the last lap. I don't really care too much if I'm in P1, 2, 3 at the moment. With 1.5 laps to go, it's really going to be about that last lap on that last straight. So These two ahead of me both lifting to try and let each other go ahead for DRS, but it's causing a bit of chaos here, not gonna lie. We're going side by side with our teammate now, and I actually get hit behind.
Oh my god, man.
And huge chaos right there as
I just got pulled out into the back.
Nicholas missed his braking point, hit the back of us, and a chain reaction evolved where I hit Thomas and then Thomas spun around. I will show a replay after this race, but now we go back to the fight for the lead. We overtake our teammate Jake Benham into the next left-hander. Jake actually has to go deep to defend from Nicolas Longuet again, and now we're gonna go full attack on the next lap, simply because I do not want to play any DRS games. I just want to get to the finish and finish either P1 or P2. I'm not gonna play those DRS games because I feel like it's gonna just create so much chaos and it's too big of a risk. So once again, we're gonna push on this exit to try and create as big of a gap as possible. I think Nicolas in P3 has wing damage anyway, so we might actually be able to break the DRS to Nicolas, and that's why I'm not gonna play these DRS games. I'm fine if Jake wins the race, of course, by us not playing any DRS games. We had a good race anyway going from last, so if we manage to get the win, that will be a plus, but I want us to finish 1-2 and not create any more chaos, because there's been enough anyway. Using a little bit more of my battery there just to make sure that we are out of the DRS from Nicolas, and we are actually, as Nicolas is now 1.1 behind.
I think we're out of DRS from Nico.
Now we're gonna deploy our battery completely on the final straight here, on the final DRS straight. Now Jake, of course, with the DRS is gonna be gaining all the time, and you can see his top speed is gonna be much higher. It's gonna fly past us into the final few corners of the track. We're gonna go around the outside. We can see he is flashing, so that means we have more ERS to play with, and on this exit we got a tiny bit of slipstream. We're gonna turn on the overtake button, and by the time we go across the finish, we're gonna be completely ahead again, and we have gone from last to first on the grid in this crazy chaotic race. And this is just I think a bit of a pre-race of what we're gonna see in real life. I hope in real life it's just gonna be as chaotic. The long straight is probably very dangerous though, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if there are gonna be any DRS games played here as well, but here you can see what happens. Now on this shot you can't really see what exactly happened, but you can see that that's Nicolas in the purple car behind us. He just scooped us up on the back, and that caused me to go sideways into the back of Thomas, and you can see it's just unlucky that Thomas was on the receiving end there. And then this is what happened after that. Ismail drove into the front of a spinning Thomas, and yeah, both their front corners just got deleted basically. And then it's me and Jake on the outside there in the black and pink cars. So yeah, unlucky, but that's how racing goes sometimes. You can see there's so many cars bunched up there in the back that drove into them as well. And you can see on the left hand side how many DNFs there were actually there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very chaotic last to first challenge around Las Vegas. Honestly, probably one of the craziest tracks I've ever raced on in almost 20 years of racing now. But it was definitely a fun one. Make sure to like and subscribe for more last to first challenges, and see you guys next time. Ciao.
Yeah.